do that one and that one. We don't. That one. Aha. Turn the light on. And get rid of the big truck. Work on that a bit later, hopefully. Ow. Hello all. Hello John Van Bemelen again. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Alright. This got power? It does. That's a good start. Hopefully this isn't too muddy that I need my plastic tray. Well, not much in there as you might expect. Oh, it's got one of these funny little connectors. So what have we got? That's the chassis lighting. Well, the motor looks alright. Ooh, doesn't turn though. Any difference for you on YouTube instead of Twitch? Well, technically at the moment I actually get paid a little tiny amount if it's on YouTube, but it would be nice to get enough, what should we say, viewers and people in the community on Twitch, so I don't have all my eggs in one basket, as they say. Because currently everything is YouTube. But if that's the way it's going to be, so be it. That's alright. I can cope either way. I think the quality's slightly better on Twitch though, but that might just be my imagination. What have I got that I can connect to that? What's the bet? And I have to disappear again and find a connector adapter. It work. Slightly dodgy, but I might be able to get enough current through that. What would you do without crop clips? Need a mains lead. Alright, let's turn the transmitter on, just in case it actually works. Lift the wheels up, turn it on. Unless you've changed the lighting, I have to say it's brighter here on the screen than the Twitch ones I've watched. Yeah, that's interesting. The wide camera is different, but I think that was a couple of streams ago I changed that. So alright, bit of current on. That's doing nothing. Power switch. Ow. Power switch seems to be rusted solid. There we go. On. Not doing much. drawing any power. So what are you doing today? Well, this FTX Outback or whatever it is, I think it's actually one of the other brands, but it's the same basic setup. Apparently it doesn't do much. So I'm trying to make it work, basically. Let's turn the transmitter off. I think it was the motor that wasn't working, but it seems to be everything. So I need to try and find a mini Tamiya adapter from downstairs. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Once we've done that, assuming we can get it to work, then I've got a brushless few bits to go into the Outlaw, which should be a giggle. Since I've got them spare, it seems a shame not to use them. Right, I shall be right back. Nope, got every other connector except for a mini Tamiya thing. Unless I've got one in here. What we got? Nope, just regular Tamiya ones. Okay, have to do something a bit crazy then. Need some solid core wire. Where have I got solid core wire? On the hall table. Where else would it be? Right. Now we should be able to make something to plug in. Bit of black stuff. Bit of the red stuff. Cut some insulation off. Maybe. And fold it in half. Cut some insulation off the other end. Excuse me. Stuff that in there. Do the same with some red wire. Fold the end in half. Cut some insulation off the end. And stuff that in the other connector. Here we go. Right, now we should be able to get a decent contact and see if we get any power. Make sure the radio's on. That one to there. That's off. That one onto there. Come on. Spring's a bit weak on that crock clip, never mind. Right, now power it up. Nothing, no current. I think that switch is what's doing it, because it is rusty. Ah, there we go. We have current. So that switch is a bit funky. So I might need to put a new switch on there, or at least try and clean that one out. That'll be fun. So what works? Steering works. Throttle does absolutely nothing. Okay. Don't tell me the multimeter is downstairs. Yep. Alright, back again with a multimeter. One of these days I'll be prepared and have everything laid out, ready to go. But today is not that day. Let's see if there's any power coming to the motor. So we've got that set to 20 volts. So let's put that across the motor. That still says 0. If I apply the throttle, there you go, the voltage is going up. So thus far we've got a duff switch on the speed control. The lighting for the wiring has got insulating tape on it, and the motor appears to be open circuit. In fact, if we do that, now that suggests there's a short. So let's unplug, let's turn the power supply off, and then unplug the motor. Try to. And I did notice that when you try and push the whole chassis, you can't turn the gearbox. So it could be, turn the current down, but the motor has just got some rubbish in it and it's seized. Let's try connecting directly to the motor. So I've got, pop. So I've got the current limit on the power supply set to nothing. So it shouldn't instantly do anything. So turn it on, and we've got 0 milliamps. Apply the current and the voltage drops to nothing. So yeah, okay. So the motor definitely has a major issue. So how doth one get the motor off this? Looks like a Phillips. Can we do it without taking the whole gearbox out? Maybe? That would be nice. Oh, it's leaving water everywhere. I think I'm going to have to get a plastic tray. There's puddles. Guess, yeah, the tyres are full of water. Ugh. Right, get a plastic tray so it doesn't pee all over the table. Kitchen towel. Soak up all that water that I now have all over the table. Nice. Needed a clean anyway. There we go. So it looks like we've got 3 screws holding the cover on. Yeah, doesn't look like I can get a good angle on the screw. No. End up stripping the head if I do that. So, what's he got on here? 3 screws, 2 of which are almost in. At least they're nice stainless gap head screws. Wow, it's a long screw. Why is it so long? Okay, now that should come away, or not. Ah, the sliders do not slide. Awesome. Okay, let's take the yolks off. 2 mil? Yeah. Oh, no. Ooh, that's just a grub screw. Hey, that comes off. Now can I slide that off? No. Can I turn the motor? No. I can't get to the other one. Never mind, I should be able to spin the gearbox around so I can get to the spur gear cover screws. Sort of. Just kind of a rusty black hole. And yeah. Oh, it's come out though. That's good. Keep those together. And then the cover comes off. Hey. Ooh, 32 pitch. Very nice. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, it turns, but it's all scrapey. So that's your problem. Slim, SLM? Slim. I'm gonna guess that's a greeting? I don't know. But hello, Turk, Oglu? Oglu? Turk? Hello, anyway. Be a victim of the Turks. I'm a victim of the Chinese at the moment, I think. Quite like Turkish Delight though, that's quite nice. Struth. What's he done this up with? Yeah, bits falling off. Right, so there's our motor. Ooh, I think it's full of mud. Awesome. So I think we might have a motor rebuild on our hands. Not something you do very often these days. Get all that out of the way. Let's see. I think there's water coming out as well. Yeah, there is. And mud. So it does turn. Doesn't feel too bad. Commutator's completely black. Could be worse. We love you very much. So, victim of the Turks, we love you very much. I'm not sure if that's mixed signals or what, but I'll take it, so thank you. Oops. Ah, thing's falling on the floor. Where did that go? That was an eyeglass, so I don't really want to stand on that. Ah, there it is. Excuse me. Right, let's look at the brushes. The brush looks alright. Oh, this one's a bit muddier. Yeah, brush looks alright. bit of a clean, that should be fine. Yeah, I think just a clean up. Probably take the armature out and clean out inside. And that should be good. So what we need to do is mark it. So that is right on that line. Has that got a line? No, it's kind of got a dimple. Because these are not fixed timing. So looking at it, I think the best job will be to take a picture with the old telephone. Like so. Ooh, dropping everything. So at least I know which way around it goes. Excuse me, again. I seem to have a bit of a cold or something. Quite a sore throat this morning. What did I do with the 2mm? There it is. So, ooh, that's loose. So is that. Cool. Variable timing on the move. So if we take these two screws out entirely, that should separate the locking plate from the end bell. And now we've pulled the brushes out, the end bell should, after a bit of a wobble, come away. There we go. And then the locking plate, yeah, it's all covered in all kinds of rubbish in there. Oh, that's jammed. Well, the locking plate should rotate, and you can line up if I do that camera, and you should be able to line up these little cutouts with these semicircle bits that stick out and then lift this plate out entirely. It's a joke, it translated poorly English, but it did, but don't worry, it's all good fun. Anyway, let's come to the question. What is the model of the car? Well, it's kind of an FTX Outback, but it's the Chinese version. And I can't remember the name of it. It's all the same chassis, just different electronics and stuff. But the problem we've got is I think the motor has been underwater once too often, and she's not a happy motor. But it is, there we go, rebuildable. So if I can get this locking plate out, then we can remove the armature and give it a good clean. Which is easier said than done, but we'll get there. If I keep going back and forth with this, it should knock out all the debris eventually, and then we can remove it. Nearly there. Am I writing from Turkish translation? Oh, I see. So you're using a Turkish to English online translator, I guess, and then copying the text across. It's not doing too bad a job. I've seen much worse, going both ways. think we're there. Yep, we're just sticking to the magnets now. And there we have one locking plate. Cool. It's full of grass. Pull out the armature. Oh, is that a spacer or a bearing? It must be a spacer. It does kind of rotate. Still a bearing in the other end. So, but there we go. One armature. You can see where. Change the other camera. Oop. See, the armature's a bit scraped up where it's had mud and stuff. Or the commutator, I should say. But there's still nice gaps in the slots. So that'll do, just needs a good clean. So you see it on my finger. Chris, Alex, hey RC Mojo, how are you? I'm not too bad, but I think I've got a cold or something. But I don't think it will spread through a live stream, so you should be safe. The main downside is that this guy is full of rubbish. So give it a good stoke with a brush. And we should be able to clean it out well enough. There's no point in cleaning it out so it's perfect, because this thing will probably go underwater again the next time it's out. We should be able to get the motor running, which is the main thing. And it's not too much effort to save, what, a tenner or something, because these motors aren't that expensive. That's looking better already. Where's my camera? There's the camera. So blurry, but that's got most of the fluff out. Much better. So just give the windings a quick brush. There's probably some debris stuck down there as well. And that'll do. End bell, it's got a bit of grass in it. It's not too bad actually. And the locking plate. That's probably the worst bit, it's corroded. Which is why it was getting a bit jammed up, I think. So give that a wipe with a kitchen towel too. Why should you not use a brushless motor in a crawler? Answer in Turkish. Yeah, right. The trouble is with most brushless motors is unless you get a very good one, they're not waterproof. So the water gets in and they simply stop working, and generally they're quite expensive. The trick with the brushed ones is it's cheaper to get them moving smoothly with a speed control. Excuse me. And if they do seize up entirely and stop working and are unrecoverable, you can get another cheapy motor like this for next to nothing. So it's just, I don't know, easier and cheaper. But if you're only ever going somewhere dry, then is it the Hobby Wing Axe or something like that? Works a treat. They are really smooth and very powerful. This little spring brush up. God, sorry for all the coughing. I can't get to the mute button on my headset quick enough. I've got my hands full all the time. Right, there's some alcohol. There's some. Go, got almost none left. Never mind. Hopefully it'll be enough. Just need a little bit. Is that degreased? Give the end of the brush a quick wipe down. When did this car last drive? Probably a month ago. And I got lots of pictures and questions and stuff on why won't it work and all that kind of stuff. But we couldn't figure it out on a chat, so it was easier if I just had it. And it turns out that it looks like the motor was just spent too long underwater and it's given up, which you can't really blame it, especially with all the muddy water. Right, let's see if we can rebuild. Put the armature in, followed by the locking plate. Anyway, have a good night, take care of yourself. My sleep has come. I've got a couple of hours yet before mine does. So yeah, sleep well. Still a bit reluctant, this thing. Let's try flipping it over. Should really get a steel brush or brass brush or something and just clean the corrosion off. But once this is in position, it'll probably never need to move again, so I'm not going to be too fussy. Oh, it's in. There's the seam, so that went that way around. So let's see if we can get these screws in. Yeah. So pinch it up and then loosen it. Like so. So that needs to turn that way. And it turns nicely. Awesome. Now we can knit these up a bit. It still sounds a bit rough, but she's spinning. So now I'll put the brushes back in, making sure hopefully they're the same way up as they came out. There's one. Oh, put the brush in first. There's the other one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's see if she wants to run. Whoops, earthquake. As crawlers are easy to drive and have become very popular very quickly, do you think there are a lot of new RCers that don't have much clue about basic care and maintenance? Oh yes, definitely. I know an awful lot of people that whenever anything goes wrong, they're stuck. And they've got no clue what to do, which I suppose is kind of fair enough, but it's a bit sad at the same time. But that's how most people are these days. Power. Oh, okay. When the caps dumped in the power supply, this thing kicked, so I think we're onto something. So we'll give it some power, and then let's give it a good spin. Trying. Nearly. I think we need a bit more oomph. That's an amp. There she goes. Bouncing around a bit. Brushes are cleaning up. Here we go. It's alive! Current's a bit high. Let's turn it back down again. Can you prevent a number of problems with fat or oil? Not fat, but oil. I think this needs a bit. I think the bearings are a bit dry. Yeah. You can get, what is it, GT85 or WD-40 in a pinch. And after you go through water and stuff, if you spray it around all the joints for the steering and stuff, where the universals are, and if you've got metal UJs on the gearbox, etc., especially if you go in dirty water that might be a bit salty or corrosive, it just cleans away the corrosive stuff and gives it a coating that will protect it, and then it doesn't go so rusty so quick. These motors are tough, but they still need a bit of TLC. Yeah, the high turn stuff, so 35 turn, is nowhere near as finicky as the old ones used to be. And we used to be running like 8 turn brushed motors. Those things used to take so much current, and they get hot enough that the amount of times that I melted the end bell on the low turn motors, the bearing would move just a little tiny bit, the armature would catch inside, and the whole lot would just go bang. Great fun. But sadly, maintaining brushed motors is kind of a lost art these days. Because for like 5 or 10 quid you just get a new one. Last time I went and bought brushes, I had trouble finding anybody that stocked them anymore. Everybody just said get a new motor. Crazy. But there you go. Alright, I need some oil. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to get a tin of oil. Don't think I've got any up here. No, I've only got smoke oil. Yeah. Right, bit of 3-in-1 will do. Don't need anything special. Bit of oil. This is just your classic 3-in-1 oil, penetrating oil really. Which is not what you would recommend. What would be better is to replace the bearings entirely, but on a motor like this, it's debatable whether it's worth the bother. So we just put a spot in there and give it a second to run in. Like so. Do the same on the back. Don't need a lot, literally just a tiny little spot. All it needs. Alright, now if we turn the current down again. That sounds pretty sweet. set it to a nominal. Oh yeah, the current's dropping and the voltage is going up nicely. Turn it down. So hopefully that's not too loud on the mic. Who we got here? Oh, that's a hell of a name. Looks like a number plate. OGVS11. OG11 Lucky. Original Gangster VS11. I don't know. Hello anyway. I had one of these on a bench supply and went a bit higher than it should, throwing a winding. I dewound the motor and rewound it as a lower turn and epoxied the windings. Been great ever since. Yeah. We used to be able to get motor kits. People would wind their own racing motors and stuff. All seems a bit of a waste of time these days. Or you just get a brushless motor for 20 quid and it goes like the clappers. Yeah, I think that's a winner. I've looked at several under Oster Ghoul RC motors. I have, and the winds are not as tight as they should be, but epoxy fixed it. Alright. To be honest, I've never really paid that much attention to the inside of the cheap motors. Usually they work okay, so I just leave them be. But you could probably get more performance out of them if you used a decent set of brushes and ran them in nicely. Used to wind my own motors back in the day for 1/12 carpet. Nice. I wonder if they're on brushless these days when they race, or whether you still have like what would it be, a 27-ton control motor for most of the racing, or do they have a brushless control motor? That would be a thing. Oops. I kind of fell out with all that when everybody got a bit too serious with it. I just wanted to play race cars, but what's this? Because my car call Holden versus Commodore 11. Ah, okay. My lucky number plus use race car. Ah, so Australian, I guess, with Holden Commodore. Australian. No, I shouldn't do that. I'll get told off. Right, let's unhook, or try to. Ooh, no. No, the gearbox. Oh, no, it's split on the bottom. That's not good. Yep, that is really, really stiff. So we've got a gearbox to rebuild too. Just when I thought I was nearly done. Yes, okay. Very cool. Oh yeah. Oh, that's all rusty. Oh no. Versus model name, yeah. That's terrible. It's kind of freeing up, so I guess it's had water in it, which has blown all the grease out. Still, we've got the motor running. That's something. Whether it's got a truck to go in, Here's something else. You hit the jackpot, it seems. I'm kind of not surprised the guy couldn't get it running, to be honest. It's got at least 3 problems that all have it doesn't go as a symptom. Because the main on-off switch is a bit dodgy, the motor was a bit dodgy, and the gearbox is almost seized up, so... Sigh. So how does this want to come apart? It's pretty typical, so the clutch has got to come off. I just started playing RC. Ah, have you got a truck yet? Or are you just looking? I hope you were charging by that. No, this one's a freebie. This is for a friend who's, what should we say, doesn't have the patience. So he tends to get annoyed with them and then ends up breaking things. So I'm quite happy to help out. I still like to complain a lot though, because I can. And then if he watches ever, you can listen to me complain about all the rusty bits and the bits that are full of water, full of grass. Get another hobby maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure what he could do where he wouldn't get, what should we say, over frustrated with things. But he does alright. He's doing more trying to repair the crawlers, scalers. What is that all about? Oh, it does come off. But he's been doing nitro for quite a long time. But he's been had a few times, I think, where he's paid people to tune engines and they haven't done a brilliant job. Got RC 4-wheel drive crew cab Hilux kit. Currently bought the hard body. Ooh, you've gone in the deep end then. Nice expensive kit. Oh, here we go. No, come on. No more screws, is there? No. Get the knife out. Come in. I think the top bearings are seized onto the input shaft. Excellent. There we go. Alright. Yep, there's not much grease in there. That's lovely. There we go, focused. I bought the kit cheaper because it was brand new, but just used the body instead. Person just body. Alright, I see. So you got one where somebody had bought it just for the body, so you've got the chassis? So these bearings actually turn? No. I think next time I see him, Christ, I'm going to be saying, you need a new set of bearings. Unless I've got some that'll fit, I might do. Yeah, even that one. If I can get focus. Focus. There we go. It just rocks. That's as far as it will go. Costs 250 Aussie dollars. What would that be in pretty much anything other than Aussie dollars? I'm not sure what the exchange rates are. The idler's alright. So it looks like it's just the input gear and the output gear. I'm gonna guess something like 200 US dollars or something. Yeah, it's well seized on. There we go. £147. Oh, that's pretty good then. How am I going to get that one off? There's parallel pliers, and then hit it, I think. That's soft, so yeah. There we go. So that's two of those. This one turn. Yeah, that one's alright. So it's one big bearing and two little bearings. And I think I've got most of a kit from an FTX 10. So that might just... no, it looks too big. Yeah. It's going to be one of these then. That looks good. Now, do I change both of them? Because I've got rubber sealed ones here, which might last a bit longer, and the ones in here are metal shielded. That one's already a bit iffy. Yeah, I'll change both of them. That'll be nice. I have fix all time now. So that's the output, and then the input needs some little bearings, which are probably something like this. Looks about the same. The front CV axle broke and diff gears. Unfortunately with RC, once you start you do end up fixing them rather a lot. But you see, what you end up doing is you end up with lots of RCs and then you've got backups. So when you break one, you've got something else to run. That fits in there alright. And that fits in there. Yeah, that'll be alright. That's cool. So I think I'm going to fill this guy up with marine grease. Oh, yeah, that's not right. That goes on that side. So that bearing goes in there. Pop that one in there. And what did I do with the grease? There it is up there. Use some of this blue, lovely sticky stuff. Which is, there you go, ooh, blue lithium complex, which is essentially commonly known as marine grease. Because it's all nice and sticky and generally doesn't get washed away like the Castrol general purpose type stuff. But it does tend to drag the motor a bit because it is sticky. So if you've only got a low power truck or you want to go long distance and be efficient, then this probably isn't the best stuff. But if you're trying to keep the water out, that's what you want. Just ordered second one now. What you got this time? Another RC four-wheel drive, or we gone for something different? Gungy. Better. Bit stiff. That will just be the sticky grease. Put that in there. Right. See if you can remember how it goes back together now. It's been more than 5 minutes, so there's half a chance I've forgotten something. Let's do, yeah, that's the one. So this goes on. Should go on. RC four-wheel drive Hilux, red short one. Ah. So you quite like the RC four-wheel drive stuff already then? Crack. That's not right. That should go onto this. That's the one. So that's going to need a little bit of thread lock. One, two, three. Because I love my Hilux. Get rid of the excess. Right. Now we should thread in like this. Bought 2 4Runner Gen 1s. Ooh. Yeah, it's a shame running the bigger trucks, or trucks in general actually, over here in the UK is so expensive. You know, all the petrol prices and road tax and everything. Crazy. Two litre diesel? Yeah, 2 litre diesel. Yeah, these days over here anything bigger than a 1.4 is considered a bit extravagant. There we go, that's all back together. Bit of grease squirting out there, but that's alright. So she's a bit notchy. But that'll do. Doesn't need to be perfect on this build because the rest of it's a bit crusty. And it's infinitely better than it was because it actually goes round now. Which I'm sure is going to help a lot. Oops. Same top gear but crew cab. Alright. So you've actually got a decent amount of space on the inside of the truck. See, that's the other trouble here. If you did get a pickup truck and you had anything in the back, it would disappear the first time you stop at a set of traffic lights. What we got? We've got 2 screws for the motor. We're going to need some washers really. One of these have got washers in, that one. Nope. That one? Nope. Where's my washers? Hello, washers. Same in Australia. Well, even outside of the towns. Where are the washers? I think I was using them when I was building something on the other side of the room. Maybe? No. No, no washers. Tidy these up a bit. Can never find anything. Right in there. Not in there. Maybe they're in that one. Got lots of nuts in there. Ah, why are they in the Tamiya drawer? God knows. I don't think I put them in there, somebody else did. That's why I have a big toolbox in the back. Okay, and I guess that's locked thoroughly. Okay. Screws top and bottom. Yeah, that'll be alright. Okay. Come on, there's a screw hole in there somewhere. There it is. It's slowly coming back to life. Just better with a little more maintenance in between, or a lot of maintenance, or just maintenance in general, really. I don't keep expensive stuff in the car or in the back. Australia use bolt cutters. That's a shame. Can't have anything nice. Somebody else wants it more than you do. I wonder if I've got a smaller pinion. Got... Oh, it's a bit smaller. I think that's going to be the same. No, that's bigger. So let's try and see if we can get this to line up. And then use that maybe? Yeah, don't look like it. Don't think the grub screw's got enough motor shaft. No, it's only half on. So I either need to space the motor back, because that's not going to work. Oh, well, use that same pinion then, I guess. Would have been nice to slow it down a bit, because I know the speed control overheats if he stresses it for a long time. But hey ho. Plus get car or ute stolen too. Oh. Yeah, I remember in, where would it be? Reading, I guess? Probably Reading. One of my friends, when he used to park up for work, he used to not bother locking the car's doors, otherwise the windows would get smashed. So by leaving the doors unlocked, the criminals would open the doors, rifle through his glove box and leave the windows. Pretty bad. I'd love to know why my overhead camera never likes to focus, but if I kind of force it, then usually it refocuses, except this time. What is it focusing on? Focus on the hand. Focus on the gearbox. See, it focused for half a second and then went slightly fuzzy again. I don't know. I have to get another decent camera for that, I guess. So, setting the pitch, and no, focus on the hand, now focus on the gearbox. See that? Perfect. So what I've got is a little bit of wobble there, and if I turn it, there's still a little bit of wobble. Keep going, little bit of wobble. What we don't want is it for it to be super tight, because then it will get hot, and we don't want it to be loose, because then the gear teeth will strip. So that is about right. My window big plexiglass can't broke hard by glass my Hilux 84 model. Alright, you've got plastic window. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, let's see what the gearbox sounds like. It'll probably be a bit noisy. So turn the current down. More juice. There she goes. Let that run for a minute. Turn it down. Let's go wide camera for a minute. Ooh. That will be because I just shorted out the power supply. There we go. Let's hold that wire away. Alright, let's crank it up. So that's going to be about maximum. And she's running fine. A little bit noisy, as I say, but that'll do. If I slow right down, what are we at? 1.5 volts. And she's spinning away quite happily. A bit lower? 1 volt maybe? Yeah. That's pretty good. If I breathe on it, it's going to stop though. Oop, wrong one. There we go. So that's pretty slow. You can see where the spur gear isn't quite in the centre either. Good enough though. Alright, let's tidy some of this stuff up and put it back together. Excuse me. What should I do with them? Put them on the table, out of the way, behind me, and then I'll probably forget them. Alright, so we've got spur gear cover. This little tiny self tappers. Like so. Brush the debris out of the way. Nice. Okay. Bought Tamiya Globe Liner truck. Bought Lisu stuff. Ooh, very nice. I always quite like the Globe Liner. It's a bit of an oddball one because it's an American style truck, but it's a cab over, which is not at all common. Actually, I think it's the only 1/14 that's like that, if I remember rightly. That screw is too long. How far does it go in? Seems alright. Yep. That'll work just fine. Yep. That thread is stripped, but never mind. I'm sure at least 2 of these screws. Was it stripped or did it just miss? What? No, that doesn't. That... What? Okay. Yeah, okay, so the screws don't actually line up with the holes in the gearbox. So we can have 2 screws holding the gearbox on, but not all of them. Base off international truck 9600 or 9670 truck. Worth threadlock blue. Threadlock blue? Threadlock blue. Yeah. That kind of stuff. If you're going to use it to build the Tamiya though, don't get it on the plastic, because it will eat the plastic and make it go quite brittle. So there's a few little tricks you can do when you apply it. Where if you think about it and do it carefully, you can thread lock the plain nuts and stuff without getting it on the plastic. Don't use green or red. Yeah, pretty much. Green is the vaguest of thread lock you can get, so it barely makes a flying bit of difference. Red is extremely strong thread lock, which more often than not you have to apply a fair amount of heat to soften it before you can actually undo things. And of course, if there's plastic nearby, that's not much use. So did the axles turn? No. Oh, I don't want to rebuild the axles as well. Does the front one turn? Oh, the front one's alright. I think we're going to have to redo the rear axle next. Oh well. Let's put the front one back on. In Worth, green strong red. Green strong red? Usually goes green, blue, red from weak to strong. I know there's a couple of manufacturers that have got their own ideas, but that's how most of them do it. Because rebuild engine, daily job. Alright, cool. Yeah, in RC it's mainly avoiding the plastics with the thread lock. But things like this that are all metal, the yoke and the grub screw, it's fine. Right, axle. What are you gonna do? There's water pouring out. What am I gonna do with you? That's really stiff. Of course, the grub screw's full of mud. Try that. That's got it. One drive shaft liberated. So that, yeah, it's like there's a brake on. It feels like there's grease in there, but I don't think it's doing much good. And he's done these up with a whacking great breaker bar or something. Borrow my stuff from work. Blue is medium, green strong, red is light. Alright, so they kind of swapped the weak and the strong round. That could be embarrassing. Water pouring out of those tyres. Not good. Alright. How's this mounting? So we've got a single top link. And these side ones, they need to come out. And then we can tilt the axle. It's not. Can't be that small, surely. No, what's the thread? Head, even. Oh, it's a Phillips. Silly sod. In worth kit. Right. Yeah, you wouldn't want to get them the wrong way around. Dampers have got their own screw, so I can't even shortcut that. Oops. That's covered in grass. Doo-doo-doo. Excuse me again. Come on, out you come. There it goes. Radio control you get. I don't miss getting them dirty. Oh, what, the trucks? Yeah, this one isn't too bad. It just hasn't been maintained quite well enough, so it's seized up a bit here and there. But, I know what you mean. Once you've done the indoor stuff for a while, getting your hands dirty trying to fix the off-roaders does seem a bit of a drag. So how's that work? That's just a ball joint. It should pop out. There it goes. There's the axle. Right. Next stage. What I do is kitchen towels. There they are. Let's adjust that up a bit. I'm more of an on-road carpet racer. I seem to remember the carpet fibres used to make a bit of a mess. But that might have just been the carpet that the High Wycombe Club used to run on. Would be cool if you did some on-road cars, but it is what it is. Yeah, I haven't really got anywhere to run them. Used to have empty car parks and all sorts around, but they're all gone. Building houses on them or whatever. I always service RC when finished playing. Yeah. I think if this had had a squirt of GT85 or whatever after every run, it probably wouldn't be quite as stiff. But there you go. Yeah, the fluff is a pain in the fluff. Yep. Not as bad as all the oil and mud and water and stuff, but still. Oh, okay. That's full of grass. Yeah. Look at the lovely orange rust. All the bearings, including the input bearing. This is going to be a horror show. That screw head is full of mud. I have OCD. Maybe you should service everybody else's truck as well. It will be perfectly clean. I have to charge them for it though. Oops. Clean the junk out the heads and see if we can undo them. Everything have to be clean, yeah. I like to do a good degree of preventative maintenance. Blast things out with compressed air and oil them up afterwards and whatnot. And then every now and again strip everything down and give it a good full service. But I generally don't let things get quite this bad, except on my TRX4, which is pretty much completely seized up. But that was all my own fault, and I do have a new set of bearings for it, I just haven't fitted them yet. So they don't come out all the way. Lovely. Primal RC Raminator is massive, yeah. It just sounds a bit slow with the petrol engine. A bit lazy. It needs something that revs higher, I think. Or revs quicker, maybe? Faster to rev up. But a lot of the petrol RCs are like that. It is very slow, yeah. No, mechanically it's an interesting model, but I don't think it's, what should we say, I don't think it would be huge amounts of fun to bash about with. I could be wrong. That's just how it looks. Brushless is the way to go nowadays, much faster. Yeah, if you just want performance, you can't beat electric anymore. That's a different screw. But I still like playing with engines. It's good fun. But mostly do that with aeroplanes these days. Because you can run a good, I don't know, 20-30 cc 4-stroke in those, and they're extremely reliable. Rather than the little highly strong 2-strokes that you get in the buggies and stuff. Okay. Yeah, look at the gear. Come on, focus. There you go. That's sand, I guess. And it doesn't really turn at all. Well, does the input gear turn? No. Sorry. Right. Loud bashing coming up. Now it turns a bit, but not a lot. Alright, let's see. Haven't bashed for a long time. I thought building a CC01 would get me back, but it's just been built and left. Oh. I help rebuild engine RC make more fast for a friend. Ah. Yeah, I think these days for engine-based RC, it's not so much about the performance of the vehicle, It's about having fun with the engines. How am I going to get that out? Just like go-kart engines. So petrol two-stroke, I guess. Right, where's the oil? Let's see if I can free it up without having to take it out. I like the Model V8, they sound so throaty. Yeah, there was a guy that made up a Gravedigger monster truck with one of those a few years ago. My boss race go-karts. Funnily enough, the garage that I used to take my old car for servicing, the guy that ran that used to do go-karts. I think he still does actually. Oh, that's freed it up. I think I'm going to put the screw back in and leave that alone. As I said before, none of this needs to be really perfect. Because this is a backup truck. Really. Excuse me. So, if it's a little bit notchy, I'm not too concerned, as long as it runs adequately. I do a Talbot and throw a 6S in it. Now, you say Talbot, and what comes to mind is an old pickup truck. I don't think that's what you mean though. I race drag cars and utes. Okay. That's running alright. Tumbly rumbly. Tumbly rumbly? You mean it's dinner time? Kevin Talbot. Oh, that guy. Yeah, okay. Yes, of course. There's me thinking about a pickup truck. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that guy. I know an awful lot of people are fans, and that's cool. But he's, I don't know what to say. He's a bit too brash, maybe? Me? Don't know. I like the quiet, collected. He threw a 6S system in a Traxxas TRX. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure how they'll cope with that sort of speed. I ran mine on 3S a few times with the stock motor. And on a grippy surface, that was interesting. Excuse me. Coughing fit incoming, I think. There we go. Not a massive fan, I have to admit. Right. No, I think he does alright. It's just a different target audience. And that's just fine. I've been watching your channel since you built the TTO1 Scooby and modded it. Ah, that was a while ago. Probably 7 or 8 years, I want to say. There's a thought. That's probably good enough. So what am I going to do with this thing? Love watching the builds. I quite like doing them as well. Well, that bearing is at 1 with the crown gear. Does kind of rotate, he says. I think I'm going to need bigger tools. Vice penetrating oil. And blowtorch, maybe? Warm it up. Because I don't think I'm getting anywhere with this. Oh no, maybe I am. I think it's moving. Just let build stuff RC. I can't watch build real cars or real world engines because people don't. Wrong what OCD stuff. Right. I get that when looking at electronic stuff. People recommending people do this, that and the other. And it kind of works. But it's not the right thing to do. It happens a lot. But yeah. Don't know, I tend not to watch RC videos too much online because I don't want to kind of bias myself, so I'm just copying other people subconsciously. I like to do my own thing. Well, I've got a gap there now, so it is moving. Let's see if we can get some oil underneath. I can't do tutorials, I have tried, but my accent and dulcet tones don't do well. It used to bother me a lot when I started making videos, and I used to be ever so self-conscious about it. But what you find is it doesn't really matter and nobody cares. What is this? Inaugural speech. John F. Kennedy. Well, that's an interesting soundtrack. 6'8" and a very deep voice. Radio voice. I think we're winning here. Here it comes. Maybe. Yay, there we go, 1 bearing. I think I'm going to skip this non-music. What a strange thing to have. Not that that's probably much better, but there we go. And say the wrong name of the parts. It's bad enough where the Americans have one name for things and everybody else has a different name. Manifolds and headers and junk like that. Fenders, wings. Need some metal going. Yeah, I'd love to play back some, should we say, copyrighted music, but all this music is from the YouTube free library, which isn't great, but it does mean I don't have to worry about copyright strikes. See, I'd quite happily have, I don't know, Sabaton or something. The Great War. But not worth the hassle of getting copyright strikes. And I must admit, it's kind of curious listening to what's in the YouTube library, because there's some really weird stuff. Well, this gear is not too bad. I think we'll probably get away without doing a deep clean of it. The teeth are just fine. It's just that the grease has dried out of it. So if we put some oil on there and give it a spin and then grease it, it should be just fine. However, we do need to find some bearings, because I don't think those are going to be rescuable. My daughter went to see Sabaton last week. Oh, Wembley. I wouldn't mind going to that. Although I think they're still playing, but yeah. These look similar. Worst part, when they're trying to rebuild the heads, my OCD kills me. Nope. Don't think I've got any bearings that are going to fit. They're way too big. And they're way too small. They're flanged. No. Nope. Okay, have to work these back and forth a bit then, and see if we can free them up. That's not so good. Yes, Wembley. Oh yeah. Right, let's sit them in there. Not squeezing too tight. Put a load of oil around the bearing. Just let that sit. Let's clean up these end bits, which are also completely solid. I think that's... Yeah, something's coming out. They put a head gasket on and don't tap the heads all the way to the block, I guess. Yeah. Come on. Now I've rebuilt most of BMCA series before, and that was bad enough, and that's quite a simple little engine. So I can imagine with the more modern stuff, there's an awful lot of gotchas there that people don't take into account. Do you want to know how to make your own very effective penetrating fluid? Go on then. I've got various tins of stuff in the garage, but that's a long way outside and it's cold. What is that getting stuck on? Can't be flanged. Well, the bearing is spinning in the plastic, so it definitely won't do. Mixture of automatic transmission fluid and acetone. Oh, that makes sense. Alright, let's put that down there because I need the pliers. Get that right in there. Let's see if we can lever it a bit. Oh. Do you have C-clips? Not that I can see. The shaft has got a flange on it that's sitting on the inside of the bearing, so it should just pull out, and it comes out. Oh, there's a camera. Focus. Thank you. It comes out so far, and you see it's currently stuck where the pin goes through, so the metal on there is probably slightly chewed up. But if you look down the inside, you can see there's a black flange which is part of the shaft, so it should just pull. That is rotating in there, so I think the shaft should come out. The shaft should come out that way, and then the bearing should come out that way, but the two are stuck together. So if we tap this back through, like so, and then get a file set, and just take the edges down around the pinhole, I reckon it will be alright. There's a round file. So if we just clean up around here a bit. So it's probably the rust as well, not helping things. Right, so let's see if that will come through the bottom now. There we go. Ta-da! Oh, okay, there's two bearings. That'll do it. But that's why you don't use too much brute force before you know how it works. I also watch South Main Auto, and he makes his own penetrating fluid. Can't watch South Main Auto, he's everything wrong. There's two views of the same thing. Alright, there's one bearing, put that there. The other one go? Alright, it's on the shaft. Shaft's nice and straight, so it's got that going for it. Excuse me. Right, do I have any bearings like the little ones? These are the flange ones. Well, they might fit. Oops. Don't need that many. Ah. How do they compare? No, it looks... inside diameter is bigger. Dang it. Yep. Why can't everybody use the same size bearings? No. That's sad. Oh well. I have to try and clean them up a bit. Get some oil in them. And see what we can do. Right, so that one's been sat for a while. Some oil on this. That's it. I want unblur. Nope. Yeah, that's better. See, that's rusty. Well, this is not going to be the smoothest running axle in the world, but hopefully it will be better than it was. So now we know there's two bearings in these things. And we can undo this one properly. Blur, blah, blur. Blur? Oh, blurry. Yeah, the video. I don't know what it is, but this camera likes being in macro mode. Or whatever the appropriate is for a webcam. Yeah, same problem. Deburr that a bit. When watching, my OCD kills me bad because you never flush the engine, no flush water jackets in the engine, damage head gasket. came out. Excuse me. I'll sit for a sec. Let's see what we got on here. Eat. If oil radiator, change everything. Oil can eat rubber hoses. Yeah, I guess. I didn't know you were live on Twitch. I'm live everywhere, or at least Twitch and YouTube. Did it not do a notification, Jobby? Send the emails out. Never tried Twitch. Don't know, I prefer Twitch as a platform, at least for live streaming, because it's kind of designed for it. YouTube, the live streaming thing's kind of a bit of an afterthought, and a bit of a faff, I have to say, to set up. Twitch is much easier. Although I think with Twitch, if you're on mobile, so tablet or phone or something, you have to have an account to watch anything, if I remember rightly, which I think puts a lot of people off. Alright, let's see if we can get these first couple of bearings going. Drop that down there. Oops, on the table. There you go. Oh, we're off. Is that the bearing turning, or is it just skidding? No, that's the bearing turning. Ah, I think. Yeah, just. Still not good. But I don't have any spares. Which kind of sucks. YouTube don't like paying partners either. It took me 9 years, they had 60 quid before they ditched it for me. I got well into the getting paid side of things before they did all that. So I'm quite happy and safe. Although I was slightly concerned for a while before they told everybody how many views and subscribers you need. Where did I put the grease? Where's the grease? Grease is on the table behind me. Where else would it be? Okay, and the cocktail stick is there. So I think I'm gonna do the classic bodge of just grease everything, rebuild it, and hope for the best. It can't be any worse than it was. And then get my mate to get some a nice bearing kit, and then I'll rebuild it properly. Not ideal, but needs must. That's going to be that way around. Yeah. Well, it's better than it was. It does go round now. I also like watching dashcam videos. Okay. I quite regularly watch Royal Jordanian with his motorbike cruising around London. That's quite fun. I'm not a huge fan of those ones where people complain about how dangerous other people are driving, because half the time they're doing something silly themselves, which gets a bit annoying. So we should be alright putting this together, like so. That spins alright. Feels quite good actually. I always clean dry engines carbon because death. I'm not sure what that sentence means. Never mind. I've been building a full RC room all day, and new paint booth is hard work. Yeah, I bet. No, I think that's the longest this overhead camera has ever actually stayed in focus. Ooh. It just tried to go out of focus. Def add blue. I'm not done. I need to work tomorrow to and get all new equipment for work on RC. Tool buying time. That's always fun. So are they the same? Yeah. So let's grease up the end of this. Hopefully it will slot in without any arguments. There's a problem. Didn't think of that. Okay. The end of the shaft does not fit in the hole when the gearbox, sorry, the axle housing is put together. It's all learning. Never taken apart one of these exact ones before, and they seem to be different to the would it be the Absema, I think, type axles, but never mind. It's clean the exhaust system, a blue stock cover. Oh, okay. So like, what did they used to call it? Oh, can't remember the name, but you used to pour it in the carburetor with the engine running, and you get huge amounts of smoke coming out the exhaust. Like regex something. Struth, can't remember. Right, let's try this again. Carpet cleaner? What? So you use carpet cleaner to clean out the engine? Is that soaking the parts, or is that running it through a running engine? Seems like something you'd soak the parts in. Going dry. Oh, that one's still a bit sticky. Not too worried about the bearings because they're kind of acting as bushings at the moment anyway. Normally I'd be a bit more delicate with them, but they kind of had it already, so there's one. Auto-correcting me, carby cleaner. That makes far more sense, carburetor cleaner. I wonder if anybody's tried carpet cleaner accidentally because of autocorrect. That would be fun. Wonder what it would do. I don't think it would compress. So you'd probably blow a valve or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it would be good. We use Marvel Mystery Oil down the carb with engine running to clear out the carbon. That kind of figures. I noted a long time ago that guys in the States seem to use that stuff for just about everything. My solder pen broke the other day, so I need a new one. Use oven cleaner if I'm cleaning like really dirty engines. Tons of blue smoke. Yeah, blue smoke. Okay. That'll do. Put it that way around. Hearing me. Well, it still spins. That's not too dreadful considering the bearings are all knackered. Oh, camera's gone blurry again. Just couldn't stay in focus. Alright, there we go. Focus on that. Now focus on that. There we go. So we get these back in. Yeah, that went on alright. Top tip coming, not a corrosive one. Not a corrosive one. Use oven cleaner. Oh, I see. Non-corrosive oven cleaner. Gotcha. Yeah. Ah. That didn't go on all the way. That should do. Alright, pop pin in. Put a drive hex on. I think I'll have a drop of oil on the input, since that's all nice and rust coloured. So I'm sure it will appreciate it. And then stick the shim on the end. Ooh, it should stick to the oil. There we go. Right. The axle, sort of, turns. I think the notchiness will wear itself down pretty quick anyway. So, not perfect, bit of a bodge, but it should get the truck running. Next time you build a turnbuckle, dab a bit of grease on the end of the threads. You'll thank me for it. Ah, you have to watch out doing that. You can get such a good seal around the thread that where you compress the air inside the plastic rod end, you can actually blow a hole in it, which I've done on several occasions when I used to use a tiny bit of oil, which is why I don't do it anymore. I do it dry. Alright, see if I can remember how this goes back together now. Good start. There we go. So the ball goes on first. Because it would eat the aluminium. Yeah, that figures. Yeah, going dry. Okay, that ball end doesn't want to go on there. There's probably a trick to this. Now you can't really get around the back of it to squeeze it. If I go that side. No. Oh, there she goes. Right, so that's the top. So now dampers and then the bottom links. Cool. Excuse me again. I'm going to have to get something to drink soon, I think. Otherwise I'm going to be coughing away. I've had nearly a whole packet of these Halls soothers. Complete with certain amounts of lithium grease. Oh, I'm sure that's good for you though. Okay. Can't see what I'm doing. Ah, I should do it. Hey. Can't have soothers, etc. Diabetes sucks. Now you see, my dad's got diabetes and he takes metformin, I think, and that basically nullifies it entirely. So he's on the jam donuts and all sorts, and it doesn't affect him in the slightest. But I guess it depends what diabetes type you've got as to whether that stuff will work. I am insulin resistant, slightest bit of sugar, and I'm sky high in sugar. I suppose all the sugar-free stuff isn't really the same, is it? Taste-wise. Yeah, I need a tip on how to make someone go. Have never been in RC community, love RC. What? Been in RC community, love RC. Oh, so you've got a friend who's never touched RC and you want to get them into it, I guess. I don't know, what do they like doing? I suppose is where to start. Because some people are drawn more to the high speed bashers, jumping and all that kind of stuff. Ah, we're in a relationship finally. So you're trying to get your new, I assume, lady friend into RC. Ah, screws already there. Sugar-free stuff is bad for your guts. Too much of it. Ah, yes. There's that classic gummy bear story on one of the Amazon reviews. I seem to remember it ended in very explosive toilet issues. And bi, so is a boy I'm dating. Alright. To be honest, that probably makes it easier to get somebody into RC. Oops. It'd be nice if these telescopic drive shaft actually telescoped. It would make life so much easier. But no. There we go. Guess most diabetes number 2. Yeah, I don't know what the type number is that my dad's got. I can't remember. He's had it for 20 years. Must be at least. And other than the first few years where it was all over the place, he's been fine. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but I don't know how to get him into RC trucks and that stuff. Yeah, it's a tricky one. You kind of, I don't know, you need to frame it as this is how we can spend time together doing something that maybe we both like. Type 2 is when you make insulin but don't use it. Yeah, that could be it. Because I know he's never had to inject insulin or anything like that. So maybe the metformin makes that work. I don't know. I don't have any medical problems like that. I just have joint problems. So I can never remember all the ins and outs of stuff like that. I've never needed to, which I'm quite lucky with, I suppose. He's type 2. Oh, okay. I'm glad he's going on vacation for 2 weeks, so I have that time to think something out. Ah, lots of planning time then. Okay. So that should be the rear axle, not entirely seized up, although not perfect. So we should... Still a bit stiff. Oh well, let's power up the motor. There's still water pouring out of this thing. Deary me. Maybe I'll take the front wheels off and then I can squeeze them out later on. Come on, focus. Focus. Yeah. Because my uncle will have diabetes, I don't know which one, sadly. Ah. Only thing I come to make him like it is to build an RC truck together. I'm buying a Volvo FH16 tow truck, so maybe that. Oh, it's worth a go. If he's mechanically inclined in any way, it will probably go down quite well. I cut down on sugar. I have to inject to stem my hunger to control carb intake. Yeah. Nah, don't fancy that. I'll avoid diabetes for as long as possible. Doesn't sound like fun. You can keep it to yourself. Don't want anything to do with it. Alright. Set this to something sensible. 7.3 volts. Give it a bit of current. We are turned off. Some oil on the drive shaft. Yeah. The inputs and the bearings are now all oiled up. And to be honest, the yokes on these are so worn out that if you put oil in, I don't think it would touch the sides anyway. So yeah, I don't fancy it either, but I don't have a choice. Just get on with RC. Yeah. Don't get to pick your health problems. Alright, turn that on. That should already be on. Right, smoke test. Well, she's beeping and drawing 100 milliamps. Ooh. squeaking a bit. More current. Ouch. Currents. Well, it started off drawing 3 amps and dropped to 2 quite quickly, so it has freed up a bit. But it does run. That's a lot better than it was when we started. Well, my first RC truck didn't go so well when I had it. It had the front axle from a Volvo FH12 and a lot of stuff that didn't fit on it. Oh, that was a second-hand one, was it? Oops. Or was it a classic first-time build where you go and buy all the cool stuff but don't check if it fits first? Is that loose as well? I'm going to have to rebuild this and then forget about it because I keep finding more things. Yeah, that's as good as it's going to get, I think. I have to get my friend to order some nice new bearings and stuff, and then we can do a proper rebuild of it and make it run like new or better. Well done, thank you. Because my uncle went long walk, not come back, after that I cut down because maybe one get it. Oh, cutting down sugar, right. Yeah. I don't eat as many cakes and stuff as I used to. But that's because friends my age are starting to get into that category where the doctor starts complaining about cholesterol and stuff. So, yeah. How am I going to squeeze these tyres out? Or shall I just give it back to him with them full of water? I think I'll just give it back to him with them full of water because I feel like some minor repayment for all the all the effort. And when he takes it out the bag, he's going to get wet shoes. Because I'm a nice person. I need to put another connector on those as well. Forgot about that. Okay, let's have a look under here. Because my dad had it, type 2. Okay. So this has just got the bare wires. So it should just be a case of crimping some pins on the end. There goes the multimeter. You start with a nice tidy bench, it slowly fills up. And I haven't even finished one truck yet. Right, need a couple of spills. I think we can strip a bit more insulation out, and I don't have my wire strippers up here, so I'll do it the naughty way. I use my work tablet for watching this. Is that? Fingers are a bit greasy for this, but never mind. should really get my good crimp tool out, but again, that's downstairs and I'm not. Put that through, give a good squeeze. Table, autocorrect. You're not having much luck with your autocorrect, are you? Here's one. Ooh. Back to Vic. Hello, I came back, brother. Hello, Turkish man. I guess you didn't sleep terribly well then. I have built 13 RC truck and I only missed one of them. I sold the rest. I was glad I sold. Yeah. Sometimes you don't, what I say, you don't get the this is my favourite truck type feeling with them. So yeah, sometimes it's best to get rid, pass it on to somebody else, make it their problem. Can I learn your name? My name is Honor? Honor? Honor. Honor, why not? I'm called Nick, which is N-I-C-K. Woody here, if you say so. I bet you've never heard a joke like that before. I don't know. I want to build CC01 Isuzu Holden body ute with tray. Excuse me. TF2 chassis. Ah. Where in Spain? Spain? Who's in Spain? I'm not in Spain. Dodgy crimp strikes again. The truck I miss is a Mercedes 1850L. Ah. Is that one of the box wagons or one of the regular tractor units? Or was it, I should say. Come on, don't be a nuisance. Oh, leggy lead clipped in. Hey, there we go. Box wagon. Ah. Quite like them. They're nice to drive around because you don't have to worry so much about the trailer crashing into things, which can be nice and relaxing, especially when the layouts are busy. Alright, let's see if the lights work. Plug my little leads back in now. I think you're sick. I am sick. I think it's a locally grown sickness, not a Chinese one now. Not that you should joke about that at the moment, because it is kind of concerning, but yeah. So we're going to see a CCO2 build, much better than the CCO1, I say. Yeah, probably. I've got my eye on one, but I kind of fancy doing a classic Tamiya type buggy as the next truck or vehicle as opposed to aeroplane. Should just come on. Oh, yep, got two white lights on the front. Ta-da! And two red lights on the back. That works. Cool. I was half expecting that not to work either. But there we go. Right. You might be able to play with the brushless stuff at this rate. What time is it? 8:30. Yeah, it's not too bad. Classic Riri are damn expensive. Yeah. Not a joke. Virus China one. I don't know. It's a tricky subject. But I don't know. What is it? If you don't laugh, you'd cry. All that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Brother, can you suggest a crawler for a budget? If you're really low budget, then a FTX, not dissimilar to this, isn't a dreadful way to start. But a better way is if you look on eBay or local Facebook ads or whatever and try and find a second-hand SCX10, you'll probably do even better because there's a huge aftermarket support for them, and second-hand they shouldn't be too expensive. You just have to shop around a bit. There we go. Nuts. There's some nuts. Because I'm half Chinese and Italian and born in Australia. Now there's a mix. Half Chinese and Italian. Wow. No. I think early on with all that, mistakes were made which let the virus get a little out of control, to say the least. And now it's all, yeah, what to say? What is it? Trying to close the gate once the horse has escaped, or whatever it is. I can't remember the saying. Something like that. It will be fine though, I'm sure. It's not the first time some crazy thing has gone around, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Body clips. I think we are going to get to do the brushless swap on the Outlaw, which is what I've been looking forward to anyway, because that's a lot more fun. Is the 540 brush motor waterproof? It's not waterproof, no. In fact, the water goes straight through it because it's full of holes. But the trick is with the brushed motor, even when they're underwater, although it's not ideal, they do carry on running. And as long as you clean them out on a regular basis, they last a fairly decent amount of time. So not waterproof, but you can use them underwater. Yeah. Either blowing it all out of proportion. Yeah. No more deadly than the common cold. The major thing with the virus isn't so much that it's deadly, well, it is if you're susceptible, but I think it's more that it spreads very, very easily. So you're more likely to get it than a common cold, I suppose is the term. Right. One last look at this thing. What is the cap model is Defender? This is sort of a Defender. It's from the FTX Outback, and it actually says FTX on the grill there. And it's got some aftermarket wheel arches. It's a bit of a mess, but it looks alright. With some wider tyres on to fill these out, I think it would look pretty good. It's more contagious, that's the word. Yes, more contagious. Yeah. Alright, put this back in its bag, which seems to have a TRX4 tyre and Velcro battery straps. Strange. Still, not my stuff. You can add new. You can add new? You can get different body shells, yeah. You can get clear ones that you have to paint, and you can paint them any colour you like. And you can get hard bodies, which you paint like a real car on the outside. But generally when you're starting, a polycarbonate or Lexan, as they say, body is a lot better because they're a lot stronger. So when you roll down hills and all that kind of stuff, you're less likely to do damage. Right, so that's that all put away. Not going to need power supply anymore. It looked very plain. Yeah, it does. Bit basic. Got to go. Have a 1/10 scale M chassis touring car to clean up after last night's racing. Oh, have fun. Playing with all the fluff. Stick that over there for now. That'll do. What else have we got? Power cables. Alright, I think in between the two trucks I'm going to have a 10-minute break, have something to drink and pour up some fresh coffee. That's getting a bit low and it's very cold. I'm not a fan of cold coffee. Because China didn't quarantine it when it happened, no one knew at the time. Yeah, essentially. You see, the unfortunate thing is, even after making those mistakes, although that's a bit of a strong word, I suppose, but not doing it right, I suppose. And then they continued to hide how far it had got. If at that point they had gone, oh dear, it's all gone horribly wrong, help, it probably would have got contained quite quickly. But unfortunately the Chinese, especially the government, don't like doing that. They like to do their own thing. But there we go. What can you do? Not a lot. Right, I'm going to be 10 minutes or something like that. And I suppose I should put the other truck up here so you can see it. And I'm going to get some fresh coffee. There we go. And let's put these on the top. ESC motor. There we go. Because I was in China when it happened. Ah. I guess you weren't anywhere near Wuhan. Right. Before I cough too much, I am definitely going to get a coffee now. No, that's good then. Right, see you in a bit. Won't be long.